during the earthquake. He abandoned me, who was pregnant, and rushed out of the building with his secretary. After we were rescued, I saw her post a status saying, "Being steadfastly chosen feels so good," and I liked it. He then came to the hospital room to reproach me. "Do you have to make everyone unhappy?" I only said, "I won't do that again." At the moment, the ground shook violently. I was supporting my 6-month pregnant belly in front of the floor-to-ceiling window on the 17th floor, delivering coffee to Lu Chin amid the roar of heaven and earth collapsing. The office chandelier swung wildly. I instinctively steadied the edge of the desk, and before I could call out his name, I saw Lu Chin move a little, and almost as if by muscle memory, quickly hug Su Man, who had shrunk into the corner of the wall. Suman Stramit, the whole person winding around Lu Chen's neck like a vine. Lu Chen glanced back at me. That half-second of eye contact was cold enough to send me into an ice cave. His eyes showed struggle, weighing, and finally, gritting his teeth, he uttered 2 words, "Wait for me." He then carried Su Man and ran into the fire exit without looking back. The 17th floor, that was the extreme distance ordinary people could escape. I watched the man who always claimed he would shelter me from the wind and rain disappear into the swirling dust, leaving only a resolute silhouette. I pressed my hand against my belly and crouched into the load-bearing wall corner, surrounded by shattered glass and toppled cabinets. At that moment, I didn't cry. I felt the baby in my belly give me a gentle kick. "Baby, don't be afraid," I whispered into the air. "If we have to die here, Mommy will hold you tight." When the search dogs found me, it was late at night, in the darkness. That faint flashlight was the brightest light I had ever seen in my life. When I was carried onto the stretcher, my body had already gone numb, and only my hands hugging my belly remained, with bloodstains dug from the cement under my fingernails in the ambulance. A nurse handed me my phone. Half the screen was smashed, yet it just happened to pop up Su Man's post notification. In the photo, she wore Lu Chen's suit coat, held a mug of hot cocoa, and her small face was flushed. Lu Chen stood not far behind her, bowing his head to adjust her scarf. The caption was short, but devastating. At the moment the earthquake happened. He ran toward me. "Without chosen is really good." I stared at the line, my hands trembling uncontrollably. In the 12 hours beneath the ruins, I had imagined Lu Chen frantically digging below, imagining him begging the rescue team to save me. It turned out he was just busy tidying the scarf for his steadfast choice. I nonchalantly scrolled on the screen and liked it. The nurse froze. You need to rest now." "I'm fine." I pressed the phone against my chest, staring at the blue lights flashing on top of the ambulance, and I could only think that this is something I can afford. Lu Chen didn't appear in the ward until the next afternoon. He wore a wrinkled shirt with dark circles under his eyes, looking truly exhausted. But the first sentence he spoke wasn't to ask about me or the baby in my belly. "Isher, what does that mean?" He tossed the phone onto the bed, his tone full of accusation. "Su Man is frightened and has a fever now. She posted something on Moments to vent her emotions. And you had to cause trouble at this moment and make everyone unhappy." I slowly turned my head and looked at the man I had loved for 5 years. He actually thought my was a temper tantrum. "Lu Chin." I touched my still swollen wrist, my voice soft. "Where were you during the earthquake?" He gasped, his expression a little evasive. "Su Man is new here, and she was frightened. I was closer to her, so I could only take her down first. I planned to come up to save you as soon as she was safe. But then the corridor, 17 floors." I interrupted him. "You took her down and then came up. Even at the fastest, it would take 10 minutes. You knew every second at that time was life or death. Yet you still chose to take her away. But weren't you okay?" He raised his voice, seemingly using anger to mask his guilt. "The doctor said the baby is safe, too. What more do you want? Do you have to push Su Man to death to feel satisfied?" I looked at the drops of liquid falling from the floor bottle and suddenly felt this scene was incredibly absurd in his eyes. Su Man was fragile glass, while I, the wife who was bearing his child to him, I was the concrete that could bear the earthquake. "You're right," I turned to look at the withered branches outside the window. She needs you, and I don't need you. It won't be the case in the future. Lu Chin thought I meant it won't be a problem again in the future, and he breathed relief, his tone easing a bit. Good, that's good. Take care of the baby. Don't think about those things. He didn't know that what I meant was I won't need you in the future, either. The day I was discharged from the hospital, Lu Chin didn't come. He said Su Man's condition had worsened and he needed to sign some papers. I didn't argue or make a scene. I called a rideshare and went home by myself. The furnishings at home were kept as they were before the earthquake. Only the bookshelves had fallen, and my cherished literary volumes lay scattered on the floor. I sat on the ground, picking them up one by one, brushing off the dust. As a professional creator, I have always been best at telling other people's stories. But this time, I want to write a story about farewell. A farewell to the person I once believed I could entrust my life to. A farewell to the past piled up with false promises. Sunshine streamed in through the curtain, landing on the pages. I gently opened a book, the tips of my fingers sensing the warmth of the paper, and suddenly felt that from now on, the world of me and my child could finally belong only to us. What I've always pursued is loss prevention. I opened the computer and logged into that account. I'd been running this for 3 years. Lu Chun had never seen it. He always thought I only wrote some melodramatic, ancient-style romance novels online to earn pocket money, at most a few thousand yuan a month. He didn't know that I was the mysterious blogger with millions of followers who specialized in explaining capital operations and the secrets of the wealthy. I posted a new update, taking a week off due to experiencing a quake about choices. The comments exploded, but I turned off the screen. By 8:00 in the evening, Lu Chin came back, exhausted, with Su Man's cheap perfume still lingering on him. Why didn't you reply to my messages? He asked casually as he changed his shoes. Have you cooked dinner? I sat on the sofa, holding a printed document in my hand. Lu Chin, let's talk. He frowned and walked over impatiently. If you still want to bring up Su Man, there's no need. I've already transferred her to a different position. Is that enough? That's enough. I pushed the document toward him. This is the divorce agreement. Take a look. Lu Chin was stunned, as if he'd heard a fairy tale. He hadn't even taken off his coat, frozen in place, staring at the few pages. Isher, are you crazy? The child is 6 months old. Why bring up a divorce now? He finally sneered, half laughing. Just because I saved Su Man first during the earthquake. How long will you keep up this act? It's not an act. It's loss prevention. I looked at him calmly. Lu Chin, you once asked me why I like writing novels, that it's because there are miracles in novels. But in reality, a distance of 17 floors means life and death. In those 12 hours, I have already died once. In the contract, the property and car go to him. I only want the original power of attorney that my mother left me. When he heard the words original authorization, Lu Chen's expression changed. That was the foundation on which the Lu Group was built. Everyone thought the Lu Group owed its rise to his drive. Yet few knew that it was my mother's patent from years ago that allowed him to secure the first round of venture capital. Are you extorting me? Lu Chen's tone turned cold. That authorization is a core asset of the company. What happens to the Lu Group if you take it? That's mine, not the Lu Group's. I stood up, wincing from the back pain. Lu Chin, you let go of my hand during the earthquake. I'm simply reclaiming something you had no right to possess. Don't talk to me about technology. Lu Chin slammed the table in anger. I've been running the company these years, while you've been living a life of luxury. Now you want to take the child and leave. Have you thought about how he'll live in the future? I looked at him, my eyes cold as ice. He had never been worried about the child, only about the power of attorney that preserved his dignity. I will raise my own child. As I reached the door, I turned back to look at him. By the way, Lu Chin, when Su Man posted that moment on WeChat, I was still in critical condition. You were right beside her. You didn't stop her, did you? Lu Chin fell silent. That was an admission. So don't pretend to be devoted in front of me. Before pushing the door open, I added, since you chose Su Man, you'd better hold onto her tightly. I hope that when the next earthquake hits, her steadfast choice can still protect your empire. That night, I never looked back. On the third day after moving into a private apartment, Sue Man took the initiative to contact me. When she sent the WeChat message, I was sitting by the floor-to-ceiling window editing my latest video titled on the parasitic phenomenon in primitive capital accumulation, with most of the material drawn from my 5-year marriage to Luchin. Ye Liangjie. We're holding a celebration dinner at Jinxiu Mansion. Jibai said that, after all, we're married. It would look like I'm not considerate if I don't invite you. I'll send you the address. You must come. Jinxiu Mansion, that was the marital home Luchin and I had planned to buy together, but I gave up because I thought it was far from the company. I didn't expect Luchin to hand it over to Sue Man. I raised an eyebrow and replied with a single word. Okay. Chun's son frowned at the screen. Mississippi, there's no need to go to this kind of trap. You just lower yourself. I'll go. I was clipping my nails and said flatly, Luchin always feels he can't live without me leaving him. I've got to show him the original power of attorney is a sword that can kill in my hands. While in his hands, it's the rivers and mountains. The banquet was set for Friday. I deliberately chose a dress, a minimalist, pure black silk gown with a thin pearl chain tied at the waist. The 6-month pregnancy was obvious, but the clean cut highlighted a nearly sacred mercy and coldness. When I stepped into Jinxiu Mansion, the party was at its climax. Luchin stood in the center of the crowd, raising a glass of champagne. Sue Man nestled in his arms like a delicate pendant. She wore a red backless dress that gleamed with cheap glitter under the lights, laughing and clinking glasses with those around her. The moment she saw me, the crowd fell strangely silent for half a second, and Luchin's smile stiffened on his face. He probably hadn't expected I would really come. Moreover, he hadn't expected that, after being away from home for 3 days, I wouldn't be a bit tired. On the contrary, I looked stunningly beautiful. Yeshi, you. He instinctively stepped forward, but Sue Man quickly grabbed his arm. Her smile was sweetly innocent. Sister Yishur, you finally arrived. I was afraid you wouldn't recover from the earthquake. So I was discussing with Ji by whether we should go to the hospital to see you. I smiled slightly and took a soda from the tray. Misu, are you hoping to see if I'm crushed to death, or see if I cried and begged Luchin to remarry? Sue Man's face turned pale. She looked at Luchan with a grievance. Yibai, look, Yishur still blames me. Luchin frowned and restored his proud, admonishing posture. Yeshi, since you're here, you should speak properly. Sue Man is good for you. Don't always be like this. I glided past Luchin and walked to the Steinway piano in the center of the living room, with fingertips brushing the keys. I said, this house isn't bad. Luchin spent $30 million. Right. He paid the down payment with the development fund left by my mother. Is it a safe place to live? Most of the surrounding guests were Lu Group's partners. Upon hearing this, their eyes suddenly turned playful. Lu Chen's face darkened as if a pot had boiled. What are you talking about? That's company accounting. Yes, the company's accounts. But 3/10 of the Lu Group's annual net profit comes from the licensing premium of my mother's patented technology. You use my money to support your secret love, and you still think I'm being difficult. I turned to Sue Man. My gaze is sharp as a blade. Misu, it does feel good to be firmly chosen. But have you ever wondered if the foundation supporting that choice collapses? What will be left of your Mr. Lu? Sue Man shuddered under my stare. Yeshi, enough. Lu Chen growled, striding over and trying to grab my wrist. What's wrong with you? Storming over in the middle of the night. Come back with me now. I deftly sidestepped his hand and pushed open the terrace door behind me. Lu Chen, you're wrong. I'm not here to go crazy. I'm here to collect rent. I took a legal letter from my clutch and placed it gently on the expensive piano in front of everyone. The Lu Group has illegally diverted patent turnover funds, and after the core technology license expired, it was not returned on time. From this moment, my grandfather's family business, the Yi family, will officially initiate the RICO every procedure. Right now, this suit you're wearing and this house as well are under preservation. The room fell silent. Su Man cried out, "This can't be true. Yabai. What he said is a lie, right?" Lu Chin stared fixedly at the letter of attorney, the veins on the back of his hand standing out. He finally realized something, his eyes flashing with unprecedented fear. He had always thought I was just a little woman who writes novels behind the scenes, but forgot that the blood running through my veins is the Yi family's blood. The dinner ended badly, and everyone went their separate ways. Early the next morning, Lu Chen crouched at the door of my private apartment like a crazed dog looking sleep-deprived after a night without sleep, his shirt wrinkled beyond recognition, his normally polished business elite image completely collapsed. "Yeshi, what exactly do you intend to do?" He leaned on the doorframe, his voice hoarse. "Take back the authorization. Do you know what that means for the Lu clan? That's 5 years of my hard work." I, in loungewear, held hot milk and watched him calmly. "I know. Losing core patent protection. The 100 billion artificial intelligence project you're pushing will face nationwide infringement lawsuits. Investors will pull out, banks will call in loans, and Lu Chen will go from a business prodigy in Binhai City to a defendant in debt. Are you crazy?" He barged in, taking long strides, trying to seize the cup from my hands. But Chin Sr., who appeared behind him just in time, stopped him. "Mr. Lu, please keep your distance." Tietzin spoke coldly. Lu Chin looked at Chun Sr., then at me, his eyes full of disbelief. "You actually brought a man home. Yeshi, we haven't even finished the procedures." "Lu Chin, don't judge everyone with your dirty thoughts." I sat back on the sofa, slowly taking a sip of milk. "Attorney Chen is my private asset manager, whom I hired at great cost. As for whether I'm crazy or not, you should ask your secretary, Sue. How many bragging replies did she post under that circle of friends about being steadfast is such a good choice?" Lu Chin trembled with anger. Just because of a circle of friends, just because of a misunderstanding during the earthquake, do you want to ruin my career? Ruin our child's future? Don't mention the child. Mentioning those 2 words unleashed the long-suppressed fury in me. I put down the cup, my voice cold as ice. "Lu Chin, when you let go of my hand on the 17th floor during the earthquake, did you think about the child's future? During those 12 hours under the rubble, holding Su Man to keep her warm, did you think the child would be stillborn? Now you talk to me about the future. You don't deserve it." Lu Chen's face turned deathly pale. He opened his mouth, but couldn't utter a word. "I have already handed the original authorization to Yi Shi's legal department." I put on a professional smile again, according Clear's throat to contract law, because the Lu Group failed to fulfill the confidentiality obligations, and you, as CEO, privately brought Su Man into the core laboratory during the earthquake. This constitutes a serious breach of contract. What core laboratory? Lu Chin froze. When the earthquake struck, the cabinet in Su Man's office held the latest copy of the core code. I opened my phone and zoomed in on a selfie Su Man had sent to show him. "Look, she wanted to show off so badly that she photographed the code on your computer screen. That picture stayed on her moments for 3 hours, more than enough time for competitors to analyze our core algorithm." Lu Chen looked as if he had been struck by lightning, frozen to the spot. "Sumanes moments costo. It feels so good to be firmly chosen." Had not only humiliated me, but had also single-handedly ruined his empire. "So, this is the choice you stood by." I looked at him with no trace of pity in my eyes. "Lu Chin, you gave up on me and our child for her. Now, because of her foolishness, you've lost everything you once took pride in. That's only fair, isn't it? No, I can make this right. I'll send Su Man away. I'll apologize publicly." Lu Chin rushed over, his voice filled with humble pleading. "Yeshi, don't go to extremes. Please, as long as the code doesn't leak, we can still recover." I pointed at the TV. Financial news was scrolling across the screen. Lu Corporation suspected of core technology leak. Stock price plunges to the daily limit at opening. Multiple investors demand withdrawal of funding. Just then, Lu Chen's phone began ringing wildly, the death knell from banks and shareholders. He collapsed to the floor, and his phone slid. Mr. Liu, please leave now, Chun-san said politely while gesturing for him to go. We'll settle the rest in court. I stood up and walked toward the bedroom, pausing at the door to glance back at that broken man. For 5 years, I truly believed he was my only anchor in this world until the earthquake tore away every facade. Lu Qin, you thought what you chose among the ruins was love, but it was actually an elevator to hell, and I long ago learned to land on my own from the 17th floor. The collapse of Lu Corporation came faster than anyone had anticipated. Once the core code leak was confirmed, several foreign investment firms that had been on the sidelines pulled their funding almost simultaneously. When a wall falls, everyone pushes. This saying has never been an empty phrase in the business world. Lu Qin sat in his office for 3 days and 3 nights when he finally walked out of the power outage president's office. Instead of greetings or concern, he was met by court-appointed asset preservation officers. Mr. Liu, given the current debt situation of Liu's Industrial, this office building and several properties under your name have been frozen. Lu Qin stared blankly as the seals were pasted on the mahogany desk. On instinct, he picked up his phone and dialed Suman. At that moment, the only comfort he could think of was still the firm choice that had cost him everything. The phone rang for a long time before being answered. The background noise was deafening, like being in a high-end mall. Man, where are you? Something's come up on my end. Can you come get me? Lu Chen's voice was so hoarse it weighed almost unrecognizable. There was a half-second silence on the line before Su Man's distant and cold voice came through. Mr. Liu, you must be joking. I'm in an interview right now. I'm pretty busy. An interview? Aren't you Lu Qin? Wake up. Su Man cut him off directly, gone her usual softness and admiration. In its place was a chilling shrewdness. Lu's is about to go bankrupt. What? Should I go hungry with you instead of finding a job? Since Isher has gone all the way, you should know you're out of the game. Su Man, have you forgotten how I saved you the day of the earthquake? Lu Qin nearly shouted. Yeah, you saved me, and I stayed with you for half a month. We're even, so man tjuthkledlikli. Oh, and by the way, that little post on Moments that day, it was actually the young boss of the Lin Group who asked me to share it. He promised me that as long as Lu's was brought down, I could go work as his PR manager. Lu Qin, don't be so naive in the adult world. Even firm choices come with a price tag. The line went dead. Lu Qin stood there, phone in hand, like a petrified statue, linger in the cold draft of the lobby for a long time for this woman. He had let go of his wife's hand at a moment of life and death. For her, he had borne the condemnation of abandoning his wife and child. But in the end, in the temple of true love he had so carefully built, he was nothing more than an ATM, used up and discarded. Just then, the giant screen in the lobby began playing a clip from a live stream. It was from a channel with over 1 million subscribers. It's called a long, steady flow. The screen showed no face, only a slender, fair hand slowly and methodically flipping through yellowed folders. Hello, everyone. This is Isher. Today, we're going to discuss the end of capital parasitism. Lu Chen's head shot up. That voice, that cadence, he knew them to his very core. It was Isher. Many people ask why a company that rises on the patents of the Chizu clan would, in just 5 years, fall into the illusion of achieving brilliance on its own. Because parasites are best at using self-hypnosis to cover up weakness. When the earthquake tears off the disguise, what we see is not only the ruins, but the truest color of humanity. In the video, Isha reveals Lu's recent financial loopholes and evidence of embezzling research and development funds into personal accounts and buying property for Su Man. This earthquake didn't kill me, but it made me see clearly. Since the parasite has chosen a new host as the mother organism, I must reclaim the nutrients. Damaku scrolled wildly. Holy isn't that the Playboy CEO from the Chula group that someone was posting couple selfies on Moments. Turns out it was all stolen light. This sister knows what's up. A scumbag like that deserves to walk away with nothing. Lu Qin stared at the stinging lines of Damaku, feeling as if a piece of his heart had been gouged out. He had always thought Isher only wrote a few small articles online, never imagining that while he was busy preening over his business acumen, Isher had already dug his grave from the high ground of public opinion and the law. Finally, he understood what Isher meant that day on the hospital bed when she said, "It won't happen again." From now on, Lu Qin would no longer be her safe harbor, nor would she ever give him another chance to turn back. 1 month later, in the Ocean City Commercial Center, a grand signing ceremony is taking place. The previously faltering night vision technology laboratory, after declaring independence, quickly secured funding from the global top tech giant Chongqing Capital, and the executive president of the new laboratory is none other than Isher, who was once mocked by Lu Qin as only good at writing sour articles at home. I sit in the backstage dressing room, while the makeup artist carefully conceals the dark circles under my eyes. More than 6 months pregnant, my belly can no longer be hidden. So, I chose a refined royal blue, shawl-bodied gown, and the whole person exudes poise and nobility. President Yi, Lu Chen outside, said he wants to see you one last time. Qin's son walked in, his expression complicated. I adjusted my collar and said, "Let him in." When Lu Qin walked in, I barely recognized him. The suit, long neglected, was wrinkled and shabby, and his once upright bearing exuded a weary deadness. He stood at the door, gazing at the radiant me in the mirror, his eyes full of desolation. Sure. He moved his lips, his voice rasping as if scratched on sandpaper. "Mr. Lu, you've addressed me incorrectly. This part seems to be incomplete or incorrect in the original. Maybe there is some missing context. For now, I'll leave it as it is. I didn't turn around. I was putting on pearl earrings in front of the mirror. Our relationship now is limited to creditor and debtor. I'm here to return this to you." He dug a small box out of his pocket and placed it on the table. It was the 5-year wedding anniversary diamond ring. Sue Man wanted to take it away to sell. I wouldn't let her. I know I don't deserve it, but this is the last thing between us. I stared at the ring, feeling the irony well up. "Lu Qin, do you think I still fancy this stone?" I turned to face him calmly. "During the earthquake, this ring was on my hand and nearly cut off the circulation because my finger swelled. After I was rescued, I cut it off myself." Lu Chen's face went as pale as paper. "I didn't come today to hear your confession." I pointed to another document on the table. "This is a detailed list of the remaining debts after Lu Corporation's liquidation. For the sake of the child, I won't apply for personal restrictions against you. You can work. You can repay your debts. Use the remaining decades to make up for the losses of the employees you implicated." "Don't you hate me?" he asked tremulously. "Resentment?" I laughed, genuinely amused. "Lu Qin, after the earthquake, trapped beneath those 17 floors of rubble, I did resent. You've resented that you never looked back. Resented that you could be so cruel. But now, looking at you, there's only one feeling left in my heart." "What?" "Relief." I stood up, and Chun's son immediately stepped forward to support my arm. It's like cutting out a necrotic appendix. The process hurts, but once it's removed, my life finally feels truly clean. Lu Qin staggered backward, his shoulder slamming into the doorframe. The prideful love he had believed in was a sham. The dignity he fought to uphold was a lie. Now, even the wife who once loved him to the core would no longer grant him the intense emotion of hatred. At that moment, my phone vibrated. The video platform backstage notification. "Congratulations. Your video, The Choice After the Earthquake, has won the Best Deep Content of the Year." I looked at the screen, a genuine smile curling at the corners of my mouth. "Lu Qin, look." I turned the phone toward him. "Without you, I'm not only living well, I'm living 1,000 times more brilliantly than when I was with you. This is the future I chose for myself and for my child." Lu Qin looked at the screen, then at me, and for a moment it seemed he finally understood that the chasm between us was not a 17-story physical distance, but the gap between the awakened and those drifting toward oblivion. Sorry. He lowered his head, his voice as faint as a gnat. Don't bother. I brushed past him and strode toward the center of the venue, where the lights, the applause, and my brand new, brilliant second act awaited. After all, I will never forgive you again. At the signing ceremony, I stood under the spotlight, facing countless cameras, my voice calm and firm. The return of night vision technology is not just about profit. We want to prove I say to everyone that true core strength always comes from holding the line, not from taking from others. Thunderous applause erupted from the audience, and amidst the crowd, I caught sight of a lonely figure quietly slipping away. I knew it was Lu Qin. From that moment on, his name would only appear on the list of debtors and become fodder for idle gossip. And I would take my child and, upon the ruins left by that earthquake, build a city of our own that would never fall. Su Man thought she had climbed onto a high branch. Lin Xiangbei from the Lin Group is a famous rake in the circle and also Lu Chen's former strongest rival. Su Man defected with the core data of the Lu Group, exchanging it for the position of PR manager and a full floor apartment in the city center. Her posts on Moments became more frequent, switching tracks. Still a day blazing with glory. Thank you for Mr. Lin's trust. Those who truly understand value never hesitate to show appreciation. I sit in the newly completed office of the Yi Group, looking at the monitoring report Chun's son handed over, and the corner of my mouth curls. Has Lin Xiangbei's network been taken down? Yes. Chin's son adjusted his glasses. Lin Xiangbei is not a fool. The reason he accepted Su Man is because you, Madam Young Mississippi, previously leaked a seemingly perfect but logically locked, redundant code through Lu's abandoned channels. He thinks he's found a treasure, but it's actually the patent trap we set up. This is the gift I prepared for Su Man. 3 days later, Binhai City witnessed this year's largest commercial infringement case. The Lin Group, having introduced the core technology provided by Su Man, had an injunction filed on the spot by the Yi Group's legal team at the product launch. Backstage, Su Man, in her haute couture gown, was about to go on stage to take credit when 2 police officers stopped her. Misu, you are suspected of illegally stealing trade secrets and large-scale commercial fraud. Please come with us. Suman froze, instinctively looking at Lin Xiangbei in the audience. But the young Mr. Lin, who once cared for her with warmth and concern, was now busy distancing himself from her in front of the media. We are also victims. Misu manipulated us with forged authorization documents. The Lin Group will reserve the right to pursue legal responsibility against her. At that moment, Su Man's expression was extremely dramatic. She tried to ally with the powerful, but did not understand the game among the powerful. Someone like her, greedy yet stupid, is always the first to be abandoned. On the day she was taken away, Lu Qin wore cheap work clothes and was busy moving display boards in the rain outside the office building. He witnessed the farce, watching Su Man, whom he had once thought pure and in need of protection, being disarmed in front of everyone, looking wretched like a drowning dog. The display boards in his hands crashed into the muddy water, splattering him with dirt. At that moment, he perhaps finally understood what kind of calamity the rescue during the earthquake had actually saved. Someone, and I sat in the VIP box upstairs, looking down at all of this through the huge floor-to-ceiling windows. I touched my belly, which had begun to move regularly, and whispered, "Baby, look, this is what those self-proclaimed steady choices are. They think they've chosen a shortcut, but they've only accelerated the fall." The Lin Group, in self-protection, not only sued Su Man, but also released recordings of Su Man enticing Lu Qin and deliberately provoking him on social media. Public opinion completely reversed. The once steadfast choice, beautiful story turned into a year's big drama about a green tea seducing power and a scumbag abandoning his wife. Su Man faced huge compensation and at least 5 years in prison, and the only person who came to see her before she went behind bars was Lu Qin. Su Man cried through the glass before she could speak. "Yubai, save me. You love me the most, don't you?" Lu Qin looked at her, and the gentleness in his eyes was gone, replaced by emptiness as still and cold as still water. Sue Man, the day of the earthquake, when I carried you downstairs, I thought I was carrying a lifesaver. My life. His voice was hoarse and hollow, but just now I read Yi Shi's earthquake rescue record. In the ruins on the 17th floor, it was the search and rescue dog left by my grandfather who found you first. And you, to stay alive, kicked the rescue dog, moving a precast board into the crack. Sue Man's cry stopped abruptly. Her face, she was turning pale. Yi Shi waited in the ruins for 12 hours, even at the brink of death, holding tightly the dog's collar in her hand. That dog had once been her only psychological support. Lu Qin shut his eyes, tears sliding down his dusty cheeks. Sue Man, you are not the weak who needs protection. You are the most selfish devil in this world. And I, astonishingly, am the devil's greatest accomplice. He stood up and walked away. Sue Man's shrill screams echoed behind him, but he never looked back. 3 months later, the first snowfall of the season quietly descended upon Binhai City. On the day I entered the delivery room, all the top executives of Yi Group were waiting outside. Chin Sun joked that anyone unaware would have thought the heir to a chaebol was about to be born. The contractions were more excruciating than expected, yet I didn't cry out amid the prolonged pain. What flashed through my mind were the details from the ruins on the 17th floor. Boundless darkness, bone-chilling cold, and Lu Chen's back as he turned and walked away. It was at that moment that I realized those once heart-wrenching scenes had become blurred, like a black and white silent film watched too many times. Absurd, but no longer stirring any waves. At 3:00 in the morning, a loud, clear cry pierced the silence. My child was born a boy. The doctors and nurses congratulated me, saying his eyes and brows bore a striking resemblance to mine. Exhausted, I took the tiny, wrinkled little life in my arms and pressed a kiss to his forehead. Welcome to the world. Yi Yu. His surname is Yi and his given name is Mingyu. I gave him life, and in return, he made me hear the echo of love and hope. Meanwhile, on the long street outside the hospital, Lu Qin sat in a battered van, clutching a crumpled newspaper. It was the headline of that evening's edition. Ye Shi, executive president of Yi Group, expecting today Yi series stocks rally across the board. Staring at the soft glow of light from the hospital's top floor, his fingers trembled as he tried to light a cigarette, only to find the lighter long out of fluid. That year, he had fallen from grace. He sold his car, sold his watch, and even the house that once belonged to Sue Man was seized by the court. Now he worked as a truck driver for a foreign trade logistics company, hauling cargo on endless highways just to repay debts that would never be cleared. Countless times he wanted to see me, even from a distance, but never dared. He remembered the way I looked at him that day in the office, like he was a piece of necrotic intestine. Just then, his phone rang. It was a text message from Chin. Senior, just one photo. Me lying on the hospital bed, serene and almost holy, with a sleeping newborn in my arms. Beneath the photo were the words, "The young lady says the baby is born and doing well. You don't need to wait outside the hospital anymore. He doesn't have your surname." Clutching his phone, Lu Qin finally let out a long suppressed wail inside that drafty van. He could have had all of this, waiting anxiously outside the operating room, being the first to hold the baby, spending the rest of his life with that brilliant, extraordinary woman. But he had pushed open the door to life and walked straight into a dead end. A month later, after I had recovered from my confinement, I reappeared in the public, I still as the decisive and efficient Miss Yi. The channel produced a special program titled Planting Roses on the Ruins. In the video, I shared my daily life with my child and also discussed Yi Group's future technological vision, with the number of followers surpassing 5 million. One day, I attended a charity banquet. Backstage, I passed by a waiter carrying drinks. The man's silhouette stiffened, and he instinctively lowered his hat to avoid attention. I could clearly see it was Lu Qin. He looked thinner than before, with faint white at the temples. He lowered his head, deftly helping me push open the door. even breathing so lightly that it seemed almost inaudible. I did not stop, nor did I speak. I walked in my high heels, swept past him with my splendid dress, and a faint wooden fragrance lingered in the air that was his favorite scent in the past, an expensive aura he could never touch again. Monsieur, your car is waiting at the door, Chin's son reminded me on the side. Let's go. I got into the Rolls Royce, rolled down the window, and outside the snow kept falling, turning the whole city into a silver world. Watching the shrinking shadow in the rearview mirror, my heart was as calm as a mirror. Lu Chin, during the earthquake, you see, you chose your steadfastness, and thus you deserve the ruins, while I, in the direst moment, chose my own resilience, and thus won back my entire world. The engine roared to life, and the car headed toward the bright, glamorous center where there were number 17-story ruins. Only infinite possibilities for the future. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.